Just thought of the long bitter winter. The water is clear and the skies are blue. I'm standing in the middle of the Beaverkill River. Might even catch and release one or two. Well, some folks like horses, cats or dogs. Me, I like fishing with a rod and a fly. Yes, fishing is a favorite pastime of mine. If I couldn't do it, I think I would cry. Well, life is good when I'm wading a river. It gets even better when I cast a fly. If I catch a trout, it don't really matter. It's fun just to be here and give it a try. Trout is rising in the far eddy. I make a false cast, then take my aim. If he takes the fly, I feel so much better. And if he doesn't, I'll feel no shame. Stoneflies and caddis and the riffles are plenty. Mayflies courting on fragrant breeze. And cedar wax wings come down from the heaven, wait for their dinner up in the pine trees. The water is cold and my waders leak, and it's raining now on my favorite stream. I'll bear it all, just fish with a feather, so when I sleep I will have a sweet dream. And life is good when I'm wading a river. It gets even better when I cast a fly. If I catch a trout, it don't really matter. It's fun just to be here and give it a try. Oh, ripples and waves, pools and eddies, trout are rising for the mayfly. And the sun is shining down on the valley. Hope to be a fly fishing till the day that I die. Yes, I hope to be a fly fishing till the day that I die. Hey folks, how you doing? Curtis Mayfly here for Riffles and Waves, and I'd like to welcome you to the new season. This is season number 4, starting right now, and I'm very excited because I have a lot of new things to show you this year, and again, a lot of the old stuff. So it's you're always going to learn something new on this show. Now, some of the things I did cover while I was out videotaping this summer was we had a pollution problem on the Susquehanna. There were a lot of dead bass recorded down there downstream from the sewage treatment plant, so that was a problem. And I did get a couple of shots of some dead bass, but the day I was there was a low kill-off, but I'd heard that there was bigger kill-offs before that. I always talk about safety, and I'll be taking a visit down to Rock Bottom Dam where we have some exciting news. They are either going to put a fish ladder in, or we are going to create a whitewater park there, and that may be troublesome for some fishermen, but the good news is that the walleyes will be able to get past that dam to spawn. So you're going to find more walleye upstream of the dam and some of the better fishing areas above the dam. So I look forward to seeing that. Also, we have shad in the Susquehanna now, and the Shenango. I think they're called gizzard shad. We're swimming up the face of the dam, so I'm not really sure if we do need a fish ladder. When you see these fish swim right up the dam, it's pretty amazing. The Rock Bottom Dam. And I always do safety, and I'll do some talk about canoeing and other recreation uses of the river. Again, we don't own these resources. They're shared, and we have to always think of other people and how they use the resources as well, so that we don't infringe on their right to privacy, or their, if they were there first, then they got that hole. So let people be when you're fishing or you're canoeing or whatever. Let's share the resources. We need to work together to fight to protect these areas, and we can't be arguing amongst ourselves. So always keep that in mind when you're on the river. I'm going to start out with the first few shows. We're going to be talking about fly tying, and I've got some video from last year of Mike Bukowski from rainbowsendflies.com, and he's a professional fly tyer. He just ties amazing flies that work very well for the Delaware. And last year I caught several 27-inch browns, several trout between 20 and 27 inches on the tiny parachute sulfur fly that he ties, and I tied up a bunch of my own as well, and they worked very well on the west branch of the Delaware, right in deposit. So we're doing that. But again, the first few shows are going to be highlighting some of the things that fly tying. So we'll probably start out with a nymph. We'll probably get into a dry fly, and then maybe Kurt's killer stonefly or some big goofy thing like that. And then I'll get into Mike Bukowski. So that'll be the first. Today's show is I got something special for you. I went out to Balsam Pond, and I took Matt and I took Jesse out there fishing at Balsam Pond. Now, the first trip I made out there, we had trouble because I couldn't find it. So we drove around for about an hour. It was kind of humorous, but the problem was we didn't have enough time. We had to get Jesse back for hockey practice, and Matt had to be somewhere. So we didn't have a lot of time to fish. So unfortunately, we really didn't catch a lot of fish. But we did get to explore the lake, and I hope you enjoy the video that I have of Balsam Pond, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. I'd also like to encourage, well, let's go back. I actually took Jesse back up again following week. Matt couldn't make it that time, but I took Jesse up, and we went back to Balsam Pond, and we caught a couple little pike or pickerel, and we caught some bass. We caught some sunfish and stuff on little spinners and things like that. And I know there's bigger fish in there because Jesse had caught one that was pulling him around in his kayak. So I didn't really have video of that, but it did happen, folks. And there's some nice fish in that pond. Balsam Pond also has blue perch in it. So it's a pretty amazing little ecosystem. It's about 15 feet deep, and I'll get into that in a second. But what I wanted to say was, I can't remember now. Something about Balsam Pond. I want to encourage you to email me at avkurt@mac.com and send me questions about fishing. Where to go? Where do you go around here for what kind of fishing? I do a lot of fly fishing, but I also do some spinning. There's nothing wrong with spinning, and there's nothing wrong with fly fishing. It's not like they're two opposing entities. They're fishing. You're one of the things you'll notice, though, that with fly fishermen, they tend not to leave a lot of trash around, and I think that comes from the respect that you learn from being a fly fisherman. When you're out there on the river, you're more observant to things when you're fly fishing than you are when you're spin fishing. When you're spin fishing, your goal is to get that lure in the water and catch another fish, and unfortunately, people tend to leave trash around. So again, I want to encourage you to ask questions about any type of fishing you want, and I'll try to find the question for you, and I won't say your name over the air. I might say your first name if you want, and just so you know who asked the question. I'll just say Joe Schmo asked this question, but I'd like you to ask me questions. I'd like you to quiz me, okay? So feel free to do that. Now back to Balsam Pond. Matt and Jesse we went out there, and I hope you enjoy this little clip of them out there, them and me out there in our kayaks fishing. What was funny was Matt, I put him in my whitewater kayak, and it doesn't go straight very well until you get used to paddling it. So when he first got in the water, he was going around in circles, and he had trouble making it go straight. So it was kind of humorous. and you'll probably see that on there. So here's a clip about Balsam Pond, and it's followed by the second trip. It kind of blends right in, and you won't see Matt in the second part. But you will see Jesse, and we're going to catch a couple little pickerel, and then I'll be back at the end to say goodbye. So. Jesse Hartley. We're getting ready to go out on Balsam Pond. He's got his kayak and his rod holder and hopefully the right lure of the day. What are you using to start out with?
A little Cleo, probably.
Yeah, Cleos are good. And
yeah.
Here's a shot of Balsam Pond. We're going out there by those dead trees over there. Here's Matt. What are you going to be using?
Mimic minnows.
Mimic minnows? Alright. And he's in my little red boat. The one that boat's been on Riffles and Waves before, by the way. So it's not a rookie to the show. And of course, you got me. I gotta get the sun just right. There you go. Yeah, I'm here too. Riffles and Waves. It probably goes straighter backwards than it does forwards. Yeah, it's got a mind of its own. Waves. Live TV. Changing lures. Hold that up. Putting on one of those wild loons from Canada. I'm going to see if that catches any fish. Good, we're trolling right along. Just around 9 times. Okay. How many times is that? I guess that's 9. I lost count. And then you feed it back through that little loop in the end. See that?
Yeah.
So you wrap it around 9 times and then feed it through there. If you can. Well, there we go. And with monofilament, you always want to get it wet. Cuts down the friction. There you go. And then you just take and we'll trim this off. There you go.
Thank you.
Good to go. The clinch knot. This camera's neat, man.
Yeah. When'd you get it?
a little while ago. It's kind of an addition to my show, you know. I have a better camera, but this one is more portable. And the other one is too big to fit on this mount, so. Geez, I wonder where my line is. You all set?
Yep, thank you.
Go catch a big one.
Try.
See that? That's a fish chasing those. Get your lure over by that stump. That's a big fish chasing the little ones.
This fish right here always goes after my lure right when it gets to the top.
Huh. Ooh. You get a fish or? Double loon, and we're fishing at Balsam Pond. We're trying to go for pike, and we got a steel leader on there, fine wire leader with our lure at the end. Yeah, there we go. Got one. Nice. Little pickerel. Little pickerel. Little baby pickerel. Look at that. Little baby pickerel. Nice fish. Little pretty little guy. Nice sunny. Look at that. Beautiful fish. Oops. Gotta watch out for those spines. There's a nice little sunfish here on Riffles and Waves. Ouch. Beautiful little fish. There he goes. Nice little sunfish. He's a tiny one.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little baby.
Can you get him off? Huh? Keep him in the water. There he is. Nice little pickerel. I'll get him.
Yeah.
Just want to get him on the camera. Nice little chain pickerel. Beautiful little fish. Here you go, guy. Hey folks, Kurt Nelson here for Riffles and Waves. I'm out here at Balsam Pond, out past McDonough, New York. It's a beautiful day. A cold front came through, so we're having trouble catching the bass, but I've caught a sunny, and I had a nice little pickerel, and I did have one largemouth bass earlier, but I lost him. But picking has been pretty tough here today for me and Jesse, a friend of mine's son from Gander Mountain. But we're having a good time out here. It's a beautiful day, and if you ever get a chance, look on the map and get up here to McDonough and go through McDonough and just look for the signs for Balsam Pond. Now, this is a watershed area. Boats are allowed out here, trolling motors and such. There's a nice boat launch and a campground out here. So if you want to do some free camping at a state park, this is it. You got a lake, and you got a fire pit, and you got a campsite. Hey folks, I hope you enjoyed that shot of Jesse and Matt with me out at Balsam Pond up near McDonough. It's a really nice place to fish. There's pickerel or pike, smallmouth bass, maybe largemouth bass are in there. Blue perch, crappie, and sunfish are all in there. So it's a real nice place to go ice fishing. Like right now, we got snow out here. The ice is pretty hot, solid. So get out there and do some ice fishing this winter at Balsam Pond up near McDonough. What's nice is there's a campground there that's free. There's a fire pit and a camping area for people to camp at, and it's also got a real nice boat launch. So you can put a trailer boat in there and with a small motor and such, and go fishing out there at Balsam Pond. It is a New York State wetland area that was created by an impoundment many years ago, and it's a very shallow, 15-foot deep pond is what it is. So it's a real nice warm water fishery. So get up there with your fly rod and check it out next year. It's up near McDonough. It's pretty easy to find on a map if you don't get lost. But anyway, that was today's show. I'm getting ready here to work on next week's show, which is going to be, we're going to be talking about tools and maybe some materials. Before we get into fly tying, we're going to talk about all this stuff. So I'll see you next week, same time, same station, and blah, 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 blah. Until then, be safe, have fun, and learn something new. See you on the stream. Walk down to the river the way I usually do. How was I to know someone'd be there fishing too? So I asked if I could fish my way upstream. He looked at me and smiled, said, "It's all right with me." Brookies, browns, and rainbows, and mayflies on the hatch. Give me brookies, browns, and rainbows, and one I hope to catch. Proceeded to start fishing with a tiny sulfur fly. Since they were hatching and they filled the sky, saw a steady riser behind a big rock, feeding one by one like the ticking of a clock. Brookies, browns, and rainbows, mayflies on the hatch. Give me brookies, browns, and rainbows, one I hope to catch. So I cast just above the trout that did rise. On the first cast, he took the fly, rod bent like a bow, reel was stringing out. I said to myself, man, this is a good trout. Fish began to layer, and he was released. He swam back to the pool with gentle ease. The day will live long in my memory. Somewhere down the road,
You gotta
I
see
hope
this.
that I will see
What?
brookies, browns, and rainbows,
I did too.
and
I did
mayflies
too.
on the hatch.
Sorry, you went back to play that stupid game.
Give me brookies, browns, and rainbows,